What's up, guys? I'm Chris Clemons. This is my 2019 in the bag. First of all, I have the Ranger bag. I switched it up a little bit from last year. Last year I carried the Commander, and so I was just looking for something a little bit different. The Ranger is it's a little bit smaller and it fits a lot better on my back, and so that's really what I was looking for. And so anyways, let's get to it. First of all, this is for all my homies, especially Jordan Castro. These are my towels. They make fun of me for that every year. Anyways, this is a new towel I picked up, hand-eye towel. Gotta have it, gotta rep hand-eye supply. And then my DD towel. This is the one I carried last year. Has good juju, good vibes. Have a whale sack here from Tina and Eric. I like this one. I think these are grapefruits, I'm not sure, but it reminds me of Clemonade, so that's why I carry that one. Then I have some bracelets here, some Vegas Strong for my family that lives in Las Vegas. Some beads from my good friend John Winhausen back in Joplin, Missouri. These are from India, and they're supposed to be really, really good luck. So if I'm ever feeling down, I just look at them and I automatically feel better. Got my water bottle here, of course, gotta have it. Gotta drink your water. Have a hand-eye mini. All right, let's do some discs. First of all, I putt with the classic hard Judge. This one, a lot of people probably know, it's been in my bag for years. I use it for throwing, I use it for putting, long putts, forehands, it doesn't really matter. This thing is just always does exactly what I want it to do. This is a new putter I've put in the bag. This was given to me by Denise Cameron at Dynamic Discs. She shipped this to me a couple years ago when I was on Latitude 64, and I just kind of held on to it because I love white with rainbow stamps, so I never used it, but then I felt like I needed a fresh start to this season, needed a new putter to break in, and so I'm loving this one so far. This is a recent addition to the bag. This is my Moonshine Judge, a classic hard one, which I've been really looking forward to, and this thing is awesome. It feels great, it flies really stable, and it looks cool. It's even got the swirls, so. All right, those are my putters. Let's do some mid-ranges. I throw Harps for my shortest up shots. I use them forehand, backhand, whatever the situation calls for. And I have one that is medium, a hand-eye supply one. I use this probably 90% of the time I throw a Harp. The only time I would use my VIP is if it gets super windy or I need some kind of a skip. Then I also have a Justice. I got this at GBO, I think in 2014 or 15. It was a while ago. It's a fusion one. And I've been using it for a long time. You can kind of tell it's kind of black around the edges, which I like, gives it character. This I would use for a little bit more stable shots than the Harp. I use it for a lot of forehands or if it gets super duper windy. And it has a little bit more action, more skip than the Harp. All right, moving on here. I have three main mid-ranges. I throw the Opto Fuse. If you guys know Jordan Castro, he loves this disc, and he usually has like 4 or 5 in his bag. I only need one because I'm just that good. No, but this fuse I got from a buddy in Iowa named Colin Kennedy, and he said he had a really nice one, and so I was like, all right, let me check it out. And so I felt this one, and this is like a really old run, and it's just super stiff, and it's almost kind of overstable for a fuse, and so I just immediately fell in love with it. All right, and so this is an EMac Truth, a Moonshine, and this is a Verdict, Moonshine Verdict. I used to throw basically Lucid EMac Truths and Lucid Verdicts, but I was struggling over the last year or so to find ones that were staying overstable enough for me, especially in the springtime and the wind. So Danny Lindahl suggested that I get some Moonshine ones, and I've always known that Moonshine is more stable than regular plastic for the most part, but I just never gave it a chance. I don't know why. But these things are flying awesome. I threw the Verdict a lot in Las Vegas last weekend, and it was flying great, overstable, had skip. It was everything I could ever want. On the EMac, I threw it a couple times. You know, it's a pretty wide open course, so the Truth doesn't come into play that much, but it was money every time. All right, move on to some fairway drivers. The Felon. So first of all, I have the Eric Oakley Lucid X Felon. I use this for my more overstable Felon shots, skip shots, backhand, forehand, whatever the situation calls for. If it's anywhere from 325 to 275, I'm probably throwing a Felon. This one is a misprint one I have. I got this from Robert McCall, the boss. And this thing flips up and it'll fly a little bit. And so I can do a lot of different lines with this one. I can achieve a lot of cool shots with this. So I love this disc. All right. Now I have the Explorer. This is a match play Explorer, so it's a Fusion Burst. And I've had this, I think I threw it all last season. I think I even put it in the bag at the Memorial Championship last year. So this thing just flies straight as an arrow. I love it. I used it in the woods at the end of last year a lot. Maple Hill, used it a lot there. This Explorer I got from Brad Bamer in Dayton, Ohio. He kind of had a couple and he's like, feel these, what do you think? And I was like, oh my gosh, these are like really stiff, really domey. And I threw it and it punked me the first time. It was like super overstable. And so I was like, yep, this thing's amazing. And so I'm loving these. Next, I have the Getaway. The Getaway has made a huge difference in my game over the last 6 months to 9 months. I didn't have this in my bag at the beginning of last year, and I kind of regret not giving it a chance, but it's just amazing. I can throw it anywhere from 350 to 450 backhand, and it just goes. It glides, it's overstable. It's a staple in my bag right now, and I have this one. This is, I'm pretty sure this is a hybrid Tour Fundraiser one, and this thing is domey and very overstable. And then I have the Biofusion. These are kind of the ones that Jordan Castro and Zach Melton throw. They'll flip up a little bit, but they always come back at the end. They have tons of glide. All right, moving on. The Warhorse. These are prototype Warhorses, very early run. This one I've had for a while, I think almost 2 years. This one was given to me by Jordan Castro, and this one's a new one. So this one's the Wind Fighter, the humongous 50-foot skips, you know, whatever you need. So I have this in the bag for the springtime because it gets super windy and you have to have something you know is going to fight through the wind. I mostly throw these for forehand. Sometimes I'll use them backhand, but mostly forehand discs. Then I got the Enforcers, the Greenies as we call them. This one was given to me by Jordan Castro, of course. I think it's like a 169. This thing just flips up and it goes for a long ways, and the wind doesn't do much to it. So it's just money, and I love it. This one I picked up in Kansas City at the Dynamic Disc Store. Josh Harvey held on to it for me, and he knew I loved him. This one's definitely more overstable than this one. It's really stiff, and it's just money. All right, moving on to probably my go-to distance driver, the Biofusion Page Pierce Defender. I've had purple and red for some reason over the last year. They've always just kind of worked out that way. The red tends to be less stable, and the purple tends to be really overstable, and so that's just kind of what I've gone with. This one's brand new because when you're playing at Fountain Hills, you got to have a lot of new discs so you can throw them all in the water. But yeah, I'm loving these. I jam on these. So this is a Bio Defender that I've had for a couple years now. I think almost 3 or 4 years. This thing is my most understable driver I have in my bag. It's strictly backhand, and it's good for kind of pipe and tunnel shots, hyzer flips, and big turnovers. It goes a long ways. This Bio Defender, I think actually was sent to me by Danny Lindahl because I beat him in fantasy football. And it's this thing flips up nice. It's a little bit flatter than the ones that I usually throw, and it's really easy to throw, and I'm loving it right now. And then a new disc that I'm trying out. It's a Fusion Raider. It's in this thing. I feel like it kind of fits in between my enforcers and my really beat up biodefenders. And so I'm hoping that it will replace my biodefenders. I'm testing it out. I know that the biodefender starts out really overstable, and then once it beats in, it gets a little bit more flippy than I like. And so I'm hoping this will fit right into that slot. And so I can just put it in the bag and immediately fall in love with it. But this thing, we threw it a couple weeks ago. The temperature was maybe 10 degrees in Emporia, so it was kind of hard to really tell what it could do, but I knew this one was a winner the first time I touched it and threw it, and so I'm really excited for it. But that's my in the bag at the beginning of this season, and hope to see you guys out on tour.